Lucia Voice Teacher here with our nearly always weekly episode of Voice Series, and this time was a bi-weekly, but you know, I'm quite busy and have many presentations, etc. So, just to start into, if you see into this usual photo, and I announced on Instagram that I wanted to talk about that, what do you think about this photo? Some of you told me, no, it doesn't help. It doesn't help me because I don't find solution into this photo, or I don't find the solution that this photo advises. I would like you to think one first fundamental thing. I want to do this, do it. But I'm scared. The answer is still do it. Scared. You can say, but I can't. Really? Let's look into another perspective. That is what I do mostly, also in my research. I separate those two things because they are two separate things. The do it is an action, is a doing. Just an action, no, is a sum of actions of various kind. We will analyze that next week, because if you don't know what do it is, it's quite difficult to do it in all conditions. And another thing is being scared. Scared, you can think about as a feeling. I prefer thinking about as a state of the system. You can be, if we change, as annoyed, as hungry, as, you name it, scared, shy, happy, cheerful, anxious, doubtful, excited, inspired, moody, sleepy, playful, overwhelmed, excited, sad, fantastic, silly, anything you want. Do all those things make you not be able to, I don't know, walk? Usually not. Running? Usually not. Chatting with your friends? Usually not. Playing football? Usually not. Playing volleyball? Usually not. What it is different in here is that voice, as we said last times, has a specific way of using our body and our system in general, so that in the hierarchies of survival, this function, muscular, neurological, of the organs, all, if you want, involved into voice production. If this is the hierarchy of survival, in order to sing, we have to invert them. So I perfectly understand the point, and every singer perfectly understands the point. But if we understand the point, we are stuck. To unstuck ourselves, we can separate the things. I am scared. I do what I have to do to sing. There are two separate questions. Two separate, exactly for football, exactly for volleyball, exactly for running, exactly as for walking. Okay? So what is the point? The point is that the doing is the same. The doing is the same. And I repeat myself. Why it is that important? Because if you can also see in that way. I want to do this, do it. I want to do this, while. But another state of the system can be, my heart is pumping. My lungs are breathing, yeah. My mitochondria are producing ATP, yeah. My internal system is digesting, yeah. Can impact the doing a bit more, but usually in the majority of the cases, you can take it as a state of the system that it has some influence, but it does not impair the do it completely. What it means, a state of the system, it means that it tells you some kind of information. Fear is an information. Hungry is an information. Annoyed is an information. It tells you of something into your system. It does not tell you about reality. It does just acknowledge you. And we know that we can process informations. Information is the bus is late. What do you do with? Perhaps nothing, because it's enough that it will be late. Or you change your plans for it. So, I'm scared. It is giving you some informations. It is not presenting you a reality. It is telling you, perhaps you have to check the reality, or perhaps you have yet checked the reality. There is no danger, and you can focus on the do it. Okay? So the point is, concentrate on the do it. Concentrate on the do it. The do it is important. Not all the other things. And let's have a look of the result of this thing. I want to do this, do it, and you have as a result the do it that you can do in that moment. That is okay, because we know you go on, you are going to improve. When you add scared, you are going to have the same do it a bit diminished. And again, it is the do it that you can now. You have to realize that when you get at a certain level, the state of the system is no more into the equation. They are so separate that you're focused on doing it. And you start having the freedom of doing it a little better, with some dynamics, adding some things. So the fact that it impacts you do it means that you are not so that much into the focus of the do it. The focus of the do it is not only a focus of the moment, is also an habit that you have and the training of the do it, so that the system is not impaired into the do it because you have not yet well understood or practiced to do it. When my students or my singers in experience, because with the experience it never happens, they have yet solved it. It happens what? They tell me, emotionally, I resent the performances. No. You resent as everybody. Perhaps more or less, yes, of course, we are individual different. I don't want to dismiss those feelings and those states. I don't dismiss them. But I mean that they can be big like that. And they impact your do it, because your do it is so small. And you want to solve this, but this remains small. To solve this, in life it's so complicated. And the specialist is not going to impact directly to do it, because the do it is going to remain small, too small. So the only thing on which we really work is so that when you have less, in situation in which you have less of this care, etc. So not in performance. You can also do in performance, but you have to accept that the do it will be of the dimension in which it is in reality. When it becomes big, this is going to impact less. And one of the great things into our system and our singing, that the other experience, how can I say, in a less measure, and for us it's a great measure, is that, as I said many other times, the do it, the singing by itself, is going to change the state of the system on all those feelings. But at first, you will not perceive, because your do it is very small. And the solution is still do it. So that it will become your personal state of the system, not your capacity of agency, of interacting, of being the one to it. Where usually goes really wrong. And again, I know in the moment it's very difficult to see this, and that's why we connect the dots without the states of the system so overwhelming, is that because you're scared, or because you're hungry, or because you're excited, or because you're annoyed, or because you're happy, or because any other reason you want, or because your heart is pumping too fast, because you have your lungs not making the air really go out, which they are your lungs, but they're also part of the musculoskeletal system. As you know, I'm pretty bombing around all the time about that. You change your doing. You don't do it, you do another thing. I know. You don't realize, because you think that being scared means that you have to do another thing. So you're not doing it. How can you imagine that the result is do it if you do something else? Yeah. Next week we talk about what it is this do it. Because also there, if we don't understand well what we have to do, we mix the things, and when we mix the things, as you start understanding, you don't control the recipe. And here we are, the ingredients of the voice, how to control the recipe and the results. Have a very good week.